As a result, therefore, the absolutely wrong people are being sabotaged and suffocated, and right next to it, the worst of people are placed in positions to place yet other people. Meaning that abazohira abantu based on skill, on quality, on competence. They're gonna hire people based on their ability to be able to subdue them, thwart them, handle them, keep them at a certain level. Manje, if a corporate, for instance, hires someone in a position to bring in more personnel, and this person is so jealous that they literally go out of their way to not employ the best candidates for the job, that they might not be envious of them. What do you think? What do you think is the future of that company if they keep that employee on board? That is what, yeah, if at all in your corporates or just anywhere where it is that people can be hired, when the only people that are able to get jobs are those that are so jealous that they are functioning as barriers to entry for anyone else that can work. The best applicants from university are going to be ignored in favor of mediocre ones because some boss lady doesn't want to be insecure. Meaning that your company in total will never ever have the best personnel. It means that individuals that can truly transform a situation, an ecosystem, will be overlooked when they're the only ones with the true power, the skills here to improve any output. And I mean, when you put a multiplier on that, it's giving whole country. And if an entire country doesn't have the best people for the job, whatever's going on with South Africa right now is exactly what's going to eventually end up happening with a whole entire nation, a whole nation. So, guys, nimtolerateleni and still nimtoleratelani to this day. Lord chicken, Madi Mabi Jezebel. Why? Niba nini? Nonke ngikhwayekile manje because sisters ungihlezi esifubweni so badly that angibukwa ngumuntu and futhi ngibusy ngilandelwe emva ngabadlwenguli ngiladelwe morago ke ba rape hle osi mosadi. What are you gonna do with such people as those? You've been tolerating inyongo lankutla, the worst of women, worst. And then recently bontwaisa bongwana bo sambori again, just ona no a ke rentse ke lora ke le bona ka ofela ntse le tansa pela ka ditorong ke sa batlo le bona mara ke re ke a bontshwa kankane motho hana le gift, ona le sipho, ona le neo, o tla etsa ke ha ke bona dintwanyana tse ka ofela di tenegile mara a re tse bo go di tenegetse eng because a ke re le sabotagile ka ofela you're in it together. Ke ha ba re manje sisele nje kuphela ngomadimabe re setse fela ka matlakala o si o wa ko YouTube le setse fela ka di satan. He banna, if at all you are going to praise and reward about something, not so much somebody worth of women, if you are going to elevate and put on a pedestal, a podium, abafasi ababole hure like South Africa and use them foster the rest of us ukuthi silahle ama morals wethu at the door. And bon ukuthi vele eventually abafazi that are so principled that they would never compromise bazogcina baningalile bangale to a point of accepting less than what under heaven it is that they were gunning for because it's safer for them to be in a place where ababonwa ngaboput madlis. Abafazi that are principled, that are dignified, would much rather hide themselves under a rock away from some entitled man than to accommodate them. And so labafazi aban accommodatile that took you in their stride. Bazosihlukumeza thina abafazi that are better until sizifihla from nina nonke. And ukusifihla kwakhona sometimes kuyasilimaza. Why? Ngoba if at all uzosifihla while the ambitions to be a star on the top of a mountain, uzogcina ulahle ama ambitions wakho to be a star on a mountain. Ngoba ngingamene mina ngazifihla under a rock, then ukubonwa lonke ilanga 24 hours a day inja nje ezofila entitled to me. So if at all uzohlala utargetilwe because somebody is busy sabotaging you, making sure that you can't shine because bafuna ukuthi nawe ugcina uyenze into that they did in order to get ahead, awubona ukuthi you are causing good girls to flee social media ukuzifihla refuse ukuba ne YouTube, ne Facebook, anything, Instagram. A company moto ayiphika aba hermit from the world. Then ogla at 24 hours a day. Some salivating licentious human trafficking beast because usizwe usisi that yena ngoba umekunzima la emgaqweni. Wavele wathatha uJonasi in her stride. Unborn halebona mostrateng. Hore rona ba banga ba baleya batho bana. We flee from them ingathi vele they are a pestilence. Re ba balega the way that tshwanetse vele o balege ntwe eleng very kotsi. Umuntu ha ele a projectile, ha ele bullet. Uyambaleka uyazama ukusurvive. You don't just stand in front of it. You don't just stand in front of a bullet, you flee from it. If you can escape it. How ka khona go idodge? O tlo ibalega. Ha ona motho nje fela o itatlelang in a hail of bullets. And la madoda ngama bullet and kunabafazi ababasizayo to make out of us execution style, assassinated or assassinees. They are making out of us murdered souls. Ba thuswa ke banna, basadi ba. No, sorry, banna ba thuswa ke basadi. And the basadi ba thusang leave a lot to be desired. Bazwalo vele ba compromise and ba feel gore vele because ba compromise it. Tshwantse ka ofela rona re compromise. Jwanong wena when you feeling that you are encircled by a bunch of rapey monsters as a woman, o tlo qena o nyametse. Ke rata ministry ya ka, ke rata YouTube, ke rata go posta di video, ke rata go bua, ke rata lentswe la morena Jesu, ke rata ntho ke etsang. Mara ke rata bophelo ba ka o phala ntho tseo kaofela. And more than even impilo yami ngithanda umoya wami. I like my soul. I love it. I love the fact that God has saved it. And ke rata dignity yaka. Uphala YouTube. I like my value. Nendaba yokuthi I get to keep my morals. Ukundlula, my love for art. My creativity. Ngamene ngayilahlela emuva. Nkampane ka lahlela creativity yaka mo lewatleng. Akena taba le yona. Ha eba ne e tlonketsa gore ke kwenye pilisi engwe e ke sa itlhaloganye. Rona ba bang ha re batle go lo dila ka chronic illness ba bitsang HIV because that's all that you have reduced it to. Asifuni thina ukuyeheshwa indoda uma uwazi ukuthi une ngolaza bese athi anginandaba that you don't like that karabo. At the end of the day unan futhi umuntu ozokutshela ebusweni bakho ore ngangolaza yakha kaofela ifeletsi la hopola ko the polygamist ore Jona si overteng una deny ke le ko doctor ngona le ngolaza. When a person wonke umuntu yazi ukuthi yagula aze a diagnose we doctor bese azo thuka ngithi no dokotela wakhona ngoba in denial awuboni ukuthi he's going to keep on sleeping around all over the streets because net doctor yakhona emdiagnosile uyaphikisana na. What are you going to do with a man like that, guys? When alle batho ba leng so stubborn mo lefatsheng that ha ona nthoka ba etsang yona la tlhaloganya. And ona le basadi that in spite of situation dog bahamba nabo labantu abazithandi kodwa thina sonke we're not like that. So ke ha dinswanyana tse tsa madimabe tse mothusitseng all these guys. Listen, all these monstrosities di re rona jwanong re setse ka madimabe fela. Jwanong re setse ka matlakala fela. Ke re ke mo file di nickname, modimo mo file di nickname. We've given her sobriquets and epithets. Ke ha ba re setse ka madimabe. Ke ha ba re setse ka satanic chick. And I'm like, nyempela nine audacity ephelele yonke bayile engathi isidudla to thoroughly say nisele nje kuphela ngomadimabe anibona ukuthi yini enimfashionile. Halibona gore le moagile le mobupile ka letsopa le feletse. Halibona le agile ousi la metso ga a tlhoyeba ousi ba bang so much cause yena ke re o itatlhile a itabolang ka re ke pampiri ha qeta go rravazwa ke banna ba mo kwintsha dipilisi a ba re a ke tlo ba iwane. And because yana nali loose ale easy kamala ke mongulula ame jaka ga na gole bonolo ga kana gore yana a etse nthonyana tse sa bona galeng una nagana gore yena moral campus ya gage e leng losong ka restulo sa Mount White se tlo wa mo fase ka motho ka fela feletse una na gore una na o bone nje fela gore ka fela obvious rejwa people with a loose moral character aba tlhaloganye when others hold on to their guns, especially mahunzi people that easily get swayed into evil. They don't get it when other people won't go out like that. They don't understand the kind of virtue that would make a person prepared to die then settle. The power of dignity in the bones of some. And so when a person is like angispai and they're going through a lot, to them it's like wahlanya. And Marimabe is exactly like that. My ex-boyfriend unjani gulula nje ukuyoba convince. They are gullible, they're credulous. It's easy to make them do the most abominable things. They're shameless and they don't understand people who hold on to their guns. So manje umuntu onjalo nina enizjabulisile ngendaba yokuthi uyanisiza. The audacity to actually lament later on when all you have left is or are these kinds of people, for you to be like, oh manje sisele nje kuphela ngomadimabe ukhala indaba yokuthi ni feel ngathi nilahliwe nje ngoba uhe kaze sonke amadoda sizogcina nje sijole kanjani nale mikwanti. Hale sithi le basadi ba le sejusang fela. Hale sithi le basadi ba sa emeleng ho lo shelwa hantle ke banna mara ba ba sejusa. Hale sa sithi le sithi ka basadi ne ba khonang ho ignore altogether like it ain't jack. Indaba ukuthi indoda ichadile. U sisters nje ongakwazi ukuhold ama horses wakhe. Osi osakhoneng hore ho ba le enough principles enough to say I'm lonely and futhi ngifuna uthando kodwa ngizothatha indoda ngoba one good turn deserves another, and if he can do it to umfazi omunye, he can do it to me. Umfazi ongakazi ukuzithanda enough to not seduce somebody's like husband. Msadi also tatting enough to never mind so much care as not so much care for another woman, but just for herself. Because when you refuse to accommodate a flirtatious married man, you're self-loving. And secondly, when in yourself, you will not seduce one. You are not only self-loving, but you also care for other women. Manje umuntu ngendaba nabanye abafazi as to how this would feel to the wives. Never mind that, but also nje fela in myself. Halipo tsorbana banahana ngantse le butsi mathanga alona. Le dutse le tanga la zitse ko di officing tsa bona during a meeting. Le ba seduce bana le di ring tse di kana mo their wedding fingers. How will as mosadi? It might be enjoyable for Jonasi Wabantu he doesn't deserve that level of amnesty mara. Jonasi o what thing? During the time when he's being seduced by Umatipa, whatever. His tip. The name is befitting. Jonasi maga fledwa with by this chick. In that season, it's pleasure. Gumnandinje, it's an ego boost. Mara. Asetse o setse fela ka yena. Osi oho. Firiting, usi oko shitting, ba ukutangalezela in a boardroom. Uthi yobona ipenti yakhe red underneath irock kaze we oh hasitse jwanong Jonasi o setse fela ka yena. Usi o sa khoneng je fela o tlhompha ronyetse and hape osi osna over and above ukungahloniphi ukuthi uchadile. Ayena ndaba that she's a mistress for now cuz uthemba that she's going to finally knock your wife out the door. And umfazi ongena inhliziyo ebhlungu for how another woman is just so badly affected by that. Jonasi nduwe Maso selenje no matip. Halebo no the day's gonna come when just the lack of character in the room is gonna eat you alive. Who is going to keep the boat rowing when somebody has been concussed and can't stay alive? Umuntu that is that selfish, that inward focused. Umuntu looking out for no one but number one. Onjalo utlo khona jwang in days that are dark. Utlo kuka jwang mutho jwang. A woman with such little character, how's she ever gonna be ride or die? To you, she pursued you ungezi, hape ke mosadi mara o go shetse. She pursued you ungezi and ignored the fact that she's the woman and so should wait to be pursued. Lokana le khopotse banna that have been emasculated by abafazi abansedusayo cause it's emasculation utigen chicken magashela wen. Mara ngisho nani madoda chatile need tipa sometimes just like Matipa, the name is befitting. Need tip. Masekbanda manch. You're gonna want a coat that's got enough character to hold people down, even at her own expense. It's called selflessness. You're gonna struggle, ngama mistress enu. You're gonna struggle with women who accommodated you even though you were married. You're gonna struggle with umfazi that you didn't even have to bewitch for her to seduce you. You did not have to drag her. Ngemithi uvele nje wazilahlela, waziphonsa ku. Kodwa bokarabo kunzima ukubathola, kwamele uyothakatha hure. To so much as get like an iota, a sneeze out of her. You're gonna miss women that have enough virtue uku avoid amadoda abole njengani. So masensele ngomatipa ngomadimabe ase ditepatowe. Lesetse ka is tipa se chicken. Ha lesetse ka di qefe le di tena tsa di OC tse tenang basadi ba bang. Of course, because of the fact that you are so narcissistic and you can't see in your own hearts what you did, you're gonna grovel because it's what you do. Oh, big Oedipus you. Big fat child trying to marry your own mom. You're gonna be like, oh, siselenje kuphela ngomadimabi. Ke hadile la dintswa. You built her like some Lego pieces. You made her. You made it something you were salivating after and gave her an ego boost, a pride pump. When after she seduced you, you capitulated, you fell apart. Mfazi, onjalo, when she can finally weaken a man that is trying to be faithful perhaps to his wife, to the point of ending up in his hotel room. Mfazi that prides herself in succeeding to get that done because she's trying to make herself feel better about being unmarried. Make herself feel better about whatever. Umfazi that's just happy to be so good at seducing men that she can make any man, including some of the most faithful men, cheat on their wives. Umfazi onjalo. Masekbanda. A little mohona. But I mean, what the heck are you doing out here? Trying to feel sorry for yourselves when you built that monster. So Matipa walona, where's Tipa? Oyenze nina tipa ndini. Worse zitipas still. Niyatizevana nbon. So njongo mankhala. Uguti yu resese fela kama dimabe. La birds of a feather. Ain't they be out of flocking together? La tizevan. Lese jusegile. How kata mobele tella basadi babang because bahanne hobadi loose cannons adi tipa cheka Matipa. No hle. You deserve each other. Ke halega balehwa. Perpetually on a loop. Ke basadi ba khona ngobaleh. Basalo yegeng ke ha ba kannentse ba le balegele qineleng yetse velevele le thipa zethikini ezifana nani nyatizevana eva. You deserve each other. Ke mpentsha ha ke di madimabi ona ke mpentshi ke bomba yalona ibomba beste ure kanjeni ngamzondeni ngoba you're the same thing. Uma nimzonda nani self niyazizonda because she's the same thing as you but in female form. Niyafana nonke. You deserve each other. So that's why kaofela le kopane dintswe. Le tshwanetse le nkollele ngono. Ha qeta mo le loqosha le lokoba. Satane ya lona e ba ibitsang Matipa nonsense madimabi matlakala. Koshane le chicken from I missed you. Umbonisa as amadoda that certain women must be cast out from the camp of women. Otherwise, bazohlala nje fela bakhalela amadoda ethu. If at all nina nifuna ukuyorestore your country as men, kwamele nimqoshe lo Tick and Chicken, muqosheni, ngibhaleleni incwadi ever apologizing and making it known clear loud as day on a rooftop ukuthi le Tick and Chicken engikhoze ukuthi mina ngikhalelwe yini nonke, even though I am not up for grabs, niqoshile. Kuba ngisatana yalona ikubeng, because she's the reason why kaofela lona kaofela jwano lena le addiction to msadi osingwa lona. If it wasn't for this chick, all of y'all monsters wouldn't be feeling some kind of way. You wouldn't be feeling raw. You would not be addicted to a woman that was not yours. If this woman had not placed me before you as something that is viable to grab by you, and upon discovering my excruciating value, then imagine I'm up for grabs. And so you thinking that Gululanje, you know that song that I sang the other day? It's like rain on a wedding day, a free ride when you've already paid. Good advice that you just can't take. Who would have thought it figures? That's what my tipper sakon said. Tick and Chicken made out of me. Unyenze imvula on your wedding day. Iuba ya mahala maso figure jardim. And good advice that you just can't take. Umfazi, that was just so good. And oh, you felt like it was yours, but listen, it ain't. She gave you a hope that you can feasibly grab me when I was never yours to take. Long story short, what we call a false hope, because you were exploitative and you allowed yourself to be seduced by abafazi until you allow yourself to be seduced by abafazi until you were spoiled enough to think that wonke umfazi uyaseduce kangani ngoba so many other women threw themselves at your feet, especially considering you had money, and now you felt to the rest of us must of course be up for grabs, to a point of losing ama manners that your gogos taught you. That when a chick says no, it's no, dog. Like you stopped taking no for an answer because of these tangalazareng crazy matipas out here in the streets. Labo Tick and Chicken nabahlala batangalazile to you, made you think ukuthi the rest of us nathi it's only a matter of time before stangalaza ngoba batangalaziswe, is it not imali? So imali zenu made you think ukuthi sonke as women siyithipa. Jwanong kimo osi uliyenze ulekhadisitse tankisa uliyenze addicted to msadi that you could never touch, and that's why you feel robbed. That's why you feel empty. You if at all this chick did not do this to me, you would never imagine me as feasible to grab. You would never have oralad me. You would never have allowed yourselves to gaze at a marvel of godliness all up in your grill as a woman and imagine that it's feasibly yours. If lomfazi azangwangithengisa tunina ingathi ngishebeti mina esiphasa ntho ya monate fela that you're gonna let on esatlaloganyong value ya teng because erekiswa ko siphaseng. She made you think I was something really cheap that you can get, though I was of excruciating value. I was of exceptionally high value in the sight of my God and in the sight of my brethren, in the sight of men that think rightly the way that they ought about women. I would indeed be rendered as very high value. I would be evaluated as very, very expensive. But this tipper chick over my tipper nonsense paraded me in front of all of you. What's passing, dog? What depreciate I value yamanje without it really truly actually coming down. And all of y'all thought uti of course nyatatega ngoba angisho. One size fits all. If you've been seduced by enough the tipper chicks, you will think the rest of us fananabo sizotangalaza nje like a Nando's chicken ngoba wena uqhitheka uvuza ujuluka ama-dollars. Amen. So ambani yothatha isithipha senu sethikini niyosirebuka niyosiqosha bese ningalooki back and then come back mina ningibhalele incwadi niyo-apologize nyancenga we-o ngikupha nje fela livele lihutleng le re hade karabo. You owe me an apology, and isithipha senu se-Tick and Chicken owes you an apology for ukunihalisela ngomfazi that was never yours. Wayothatha a whole nun wayibeka kwi-brothel wancause ukuthi nibhelieve ngoba she was placed, that because she was placed in a brothel that she must be a prostitute too, wearing a nun uniform as a costume. Went and grabbed a consecrated woman that hasn't had sex in years. Wamulahlela in a strip club. Wamulahlela in a strip club. That's what this chick did. She went and grabbed a chaste, consecrated, blood-bought daughter of the living God and put her uniform gaufela, outfit gaufela, yadi nan in a strip club, and you gazed at that fetishistically as a feat and a sport. You looked at me like I was something to bet on. You literally cast lots for me, do me, felt entitled to me. Wati by any means necessary. I'm gonna get this woman go bangilahlelwe phambi kwakhe inja ehard no kangaka by matipa imistress yakhe yathi Look at a nun in a brothel. And now you're all like berated. You're upset. Like, listen, you are angry, you're livid, you're irate. Ni kwatele bani? Matipa. Little kwatela seductress. For what? Deceiving you into like thinking that you can sleep with anyone, all up in your grill. She made herself a madam brothel, like a umfazi, that king mang, like nkhono. Ofang bana ko primary school malekere di sweets. On some here little child, here's a lollipop. Kanti lo gogo lona usebenzela a sex trafficking syndicate that out here is kidnapping primary school and high school girls, luring them in through ugogo or tengisa amakeke outside of iskolo or ama lollipop. I'ma keep. Next thing these chicks find themselves in a van. That's what this woman is. She was like gogo, luring women, recruiting women into a cult. Listen, izokwatela yena. She's your recruit. Uma wena we pimp kaze uzokwatela what? I prostitute, I madam brothel, hira abo taking chicken to do exactly what she used to do. And now the segaya goga. Out here working in an industry that is very ageistic because I mean, how you gonna be like a whole gogo prostitute? The only way that you can maintain her clout is to go and grab other women and make them whores too. Chilling in an ageistic industry that makes women prostitutes. She saw Uguti the only way to maintain clout, I missed you, is to keep on feeding you basadi. And when she found my content, she was like, it's just another one. And una vendetta, like I said, even though she and I did not have beef back in the day, we were not beefing. But she decided to go and take out trash on me, even though I never hurt her. I seen a history, but we have history. She was like, oh, whatever, she's just another one that needs to go and become the whore of the minute. I will be popular, I will be famous if I just keep getting more and more women. That's the only way that they will keep me here with any kind of strength. And because she's getting older, she imagined that she would become indispensable if she goes and grabs women like me, any woman. If she goes and grabs younger women, I'm not even all that much younger. If she goes and grabs younger women, then she will always be indispensable to an ageistic cult that uses women, that squanders women's futures, that takes their wombs, that just destroys their futures. Seeing as she's getting older, no longer are her sexual favors going to be enough. She now needs to go and grab younger women and so live vicariously through their sexiness, if you will. So amatotanje as snacks. So anbon utinya fanelana. If at all you've got a lady recruiting young girls into a sex trafficking ring, and you're a pimp, that's your perfect wife. So she is the perfect fit for you. She's the most befitting wife for men like you. If you are a pimp, you need to marry a prostitute. You can't expect as a pimp to marry a virgin, a nun. You can't expect to go and marry Mother Teresa. Only a pimp. Florence Nightingale is no pimp's wife. So we're all. Stop complaining about Madimab. And if at all you want to fix your country, do what is better. And then in yourselves. Bring my letter. Write me a letter, apologize, then only I will share my content. Again, Yamkumbula o Esi, go show set up ena. Esi, first ever girl, first ever love. Ega Jonasi, if you will. However, second wife, just the tyranny that I'm endured under by my ex-boyfriend, who wants to make out of me Esi. Second wife to especially Mamela. Just some abominable J that back in the day, because my ex-boyfriend Natalie busy on the side. Wamchat. A second wife to that. I can have a baki to this other than what God shows me. And the same ex-boyfriend wins a witchcraft spell to bring me back so I can be in his line of sight yet again, just like Utumi Wakon. Snacks. Because he would much rather watch me kisutlehile hakana. Hamona se tsa latlhegetswe character a botlhoko so. A kampana ntshebela nna ke sutlehile. Ke sa nyalwe. Hole botlhoko ka nna. Ke le ex-girlfriend ele. That really and truly, he got her. He succeeded. We are congratulate Olakona. His cult is so diabolical. This cult of yours is so evil. That in guys, this is the kind of stuff that will make people cry. I'm pretty sure no if she would discover ex-girlfriend yakon. This is the kind of stuff that is just heartbreaking if you were to hear my entire story. A man out here holding a woman hostage. Until Ashon. That's what my ex is trying to do. Since Asahang was succeeded, Ogungibulala, Nyemiti, if at all I can age me and I loto, give a lick so far by myself. I know Kitaba right and a cult Ayabona. Utaba right and a cult Aya thing that they all belong to. By us carrying such feats as those, they are so misogynistic that by a tanda, when Amatota succeeded Ogienza in that my ex-boyfriend did to me, so the ex-boyfriend, I'm in it loud, lakona, for what he did to my life. And Bonnie, the level of cruelty in that space. Don't you see it? Aksabantu labantu, they become ama power follow. Eba di pubesi, di orangutan, monkeys, dogs. They become anything but human. When you get so calloused that you can watch a woman suffer because when when people are walking around with that ngampani mindset, and then indoor that has succeeded girlfriend ex-girlfriend unable to do anything in pat on the shoulders on some no boy, you say, oh when they start to worship at his feet because of you got her. A lot of these ex-girlfriends and we just don't succeed because somehow bayapunyuga kodwa ukarabo ano umukhonne boy ha sitse ex-boyfriend yaka axoxwa in this cult. Again, you deserve madimabe for women, for wives. You deserve women like these. You deserve to have the kinds of women that will accommodate all your trash, yet however have no virtue. Because if a cult will pride themselves, if at all a cult will pride themselves in destroying the lives of good girls because men hate that they lost them, do you not see that you deserve to be left with no one but labo matlakala? You deserve not abo siso, but abo matip. You deserve women that seduce men that have no character, and that are happy to keep on ukshaya abanye chicken eat in a lie estratin. You deserve amadoda njalo. So abafazi abanjalo. So ukhala that you have no virtue among abafazi enibashadile. Nikhalelani we andibona ukuthi lento le kwamele niyo celebrate engathi nisepatini ngoba menifuna. It's your birthday present, you wanted it. If you can go and grab women like me, bese niyopraiser umuntu that succeeded to vimba me with chains like he's a god among you because he succeeded to go and grab a perfectly viable wife. A perfectly viable wife wamienza something engabonakali umanyewu. Usucceedile lo muntu lona ukuyotsofatsa ex-girlfriend yakhona 41 going on 42, still no husband, no children, nothing. I know, congrats boy. Gransha be with the last boyfriend engathi yabonakala in her life. Ever since then everything has been falling apart. Angazi ukuthi uyenzeni ubhemeni or umbhemiseni kodwa into uyenzile yiyo. That's the real stuff. This is this cult. So I mean, amadoda anjalo, you need and deserve salivating, sycophantic, just credulous, gullible, crazy women that will do anything and just to get ahead. Bangena ma virtues. Bese bayokhala mabagwinya amapilisi ama ARV when they come down, but when they contract abo gonorrhea, then they have the brazen audacity ugebiza abanye abafazi whores for sleeping with the but madlisas that they were sleeping with that ultimately gave them le gonorrhea. You know how Matipa walks into the house and is like, looks at Lindan and is like, is this the whore? Matipa, you rocked up in the life of John Massey without gonorrhea thing because for some strange reason you were blessed enough, lucky enough if you will, to not have it at the time. Because of you, Joyce could have gotten it, but it's just that you didn't have it at the time of sleeping, not John Massey. So to go and gaze at Ulindani Ingati, she's something different from you. It's problematic. They've always got these double standards. So when you are a mistress in yourself, I don't know. I just don't know what's going on over there. I don't. You deserve each other, and so for those reasons, please keep on exchanging bodily fluids amidst yourselves in your cesspool of STDs. With our clean bills of health. With one line on the rapid test. That are breezy down fresh air. Ga pap smear cause la dizevana lona. Ba di line tse itere go di rapid testing di pilisi nje fela tse tletseng go di khaboteng tsa lona kala nje ningibhaleleni mina incwadi you apologize because listen, I deserve it, not before niyoqosha le satan yenu that has the brazen audacity to think that she can begrudgingly give me back my YouTube channel. What's important here is that dangerous osiole for osika ofela ba South Africa, so kwamele nje aqoshwe akumelanga ukuthi ayosebenza anyway. And if any of y'all have got any kind of decency in you that you want to restore to yourselves because you want your country back, because you saw that you destroyed it and you destroyed some of your best women, kwamele nje niyolahla ingathi idoti vele ngudoti abafazi abafana nomadima. The first order of business, just like it is written in the letter to the church at Thyatira Matotandini, is to not tolerate that woman Jezebel. Nimtatile in your stride. Manje umoshe umzansi. If she wants to repent, she can go and repent. Mara hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Umfazo no mona gangaga against other women. Gunzima recover to do anything normal. So for as long as she's in any position at all to allow, fail or pass of any woman, she is always going to use her jealousy as a sieve, a filter, to determine who in the world gets favor and who doesn't. And somebody like that can't work at YouTube. Out here looking at accounts of women, out here looking at channels of women. She can't. So your first order of business is to tell that monstrous woman to go and get another job where she does not have to deal nabafazi abanye ngoba abahoni. She needs to go and write a book about being a whore or about being a recovered whore. But she cannot, because she has no self-control. She cannot work anymore near other women. She's like a sex offender. You won't allow such a person as that near children, Angisho. Well, Lomfaz Lona is a woman offender. You therefore cannot allow her near women again. So if Nina Matotandini, who have got any kind of power to give me back a channel yam, want ama reputations enu and you want your countries restored, Nina, who threw them into the water. Kwamele, first order of business. Uti, nyo Kreta, nyo Shanza, wonke lama side chicks wenu that have made our lives a living nightmare in the country. And then, wonke lama side chicks enu that have made impilo zethu a living nightmare in the country. Bese nyo apologize to us, go back, apologize to your wives, take ama ARVs wenu, and leave young women alone to go and find their own husbands, and single women alone to go and find their own husbands. Instead of trying to take everybody's wives from them, ngoba nina ni greedy. With your polygamous mindsets, go with your wife that'll forgive you if she wants to. And leave healthy young women and even older women like me to wait on God. Because then again, you can either hearken to this piece of advice or not. The first love, second wife, and you will remember there's this like hilarious scene for the show The Polygamist. Like it's licentious, that show. I'm ambivalent about having watched it because grieved in there. Izinto in there are covered in my content. Izinto in but with not as much obscenity as there is in that show. Ujonasi rocks up and finds her roaming these streets boy toy that she's busy sleeping with. Lighty. Ben 10. That's what these men do to us when they keep us single or when they are just unsatisfactory. When in our youth, maskula sonke, kwamele siyochadwa manje, rebele banna barelekanang. Bar disappoint us so much that abafazi look at them across the streets, literally on the left and on the right. But like a woman in her 40s or late 30s, ansali bizile a guy in her 20s. What's that? What's going on over there? Umfazi kwamele for the larger majority abe nendoda endala kunaye. That's the only way that she's gonna feel safe, and also that's the only way where she's not going to look like a joke. Mara ba basadi ba bagolo nje fela go ba jwele bashimane ba banyane, and jwanong bashimane ba banyane ba gata go experiment and happy ba gata experience basadi ba older. So if at all you are willing to accommodate a young boy as an older woman, a young guy is not going to pass you up, but like a young guy will never take you seriously. And even if uyazama wena also by a woman that looks any kind of serious, when you're busy with a little boy and where he's busy sleeping with some child, the situation is so dire that she's in with this little child that she's with, that when Jonasi comes where she's at, where she's busy having this affair with this little boy, uyamtshela ukuthi yo boy toy indoda yami ifikile. She's like, yo boy toy indoda yami ifikile. Angazi ukuthi igama lika boy toy umbani. There's so many people here, I can't remember all their names. Listen, have mercy on me. Ari indoda yami ifikile. Bese lo boy toy athi uchadile esi, kodwa lo muntu lona o esi abhiza ahlekisana naye. As isiZulu, this show, that's another terminology that I learned. Anyway, this guy, and he did not have any qualms. And I mean, when the man that you are with is not jealous for something exciting sense more. Men by nature are supposed to be jealous for women. Mara, the way these women are busy in their older years dating these young boys, when these young boys find out Ushuga Mama Wabo is married, their response is only uchadile esi. It's not uchadile with heartbreak, the way that indoda that is your peer, your age, when he finds out that you've been two-timing him. And he feels jealous for you. Mara, a little child, 10 years, 15 years, is just gonna be like, uchadile karabo. And there are people staring at me, looking at my case, 41, that are much younger than me, that find me attractive and would be happy to do to me or make out of me what AC is. Koto AC is in that little extramarital affair. AC is in that extramarital affair only because indoda yakhe uJonasi, to whom she is second wife, is barely there futhi imfihlo. Lento ayenzayo naye. Like it's a secret that she's married to Jonasi. Even their child is a secret. Everything's a secret. When everybody's out here accommodating phiri tsa nja. Even the guy that you out here the guy that you are hlegisanaring with is not going to be too perturbed by indaba yokuthi uchadile when he finds out, even though a man is supposed to be deeply disturbed if the woman that he is intimate with is with someone else. The way that these dynamics cause so much compromise and settling by people, it's just ridiculous. But you see, ukungathandwa ngabafazi and all this like epidemic of gender-based violence and this epidemic of misogyny that you're finding in the black community has cost abafazi uthando from amadoda that are age appropriate, with whom they were supposed to grow up, have children, have families. So abafazi banganyatswi ngabantwana abancane first and foremost, and secondly ngabantu nje at all ngoba as they're getting older, and no, not because she is widowed, but because ndefela some dude that was supposed to be her husband, megamthanda kabuhlungu kabi, azange wamenza an honest woman, azange wamhloniphisa ngabantu in the community, ba ukumthanda. Men who were head over heels in love with us in our youth, bahanne hore tlhompisa ka batho, bahanne hore rata enough, hore tlhompha enough, hore batho ba ska tlo re tella, ba ska tlo jive mo di ditlhogo tsa gona tsa rona, and hape hore ba tsebe hore re belonga to mang. Who to whom do we belong? When umfazi belongs to indoda and lendoda Elena has lain claim to her jealously, akazodelelwa even ngama Ben 10 ever. And some of us are still so glorious in our 40s that frankly, if Messi chadwe kahle nje fela young men mebazogalela our relationships as a model, look up to it essentially like a prototype as to what bona bayafuna for themselves. Onsa mina mangifuna, this is black love, mangkhula ngifuna ukuthi nami with my wife maskhula siyofana noKarabo and uThebo. Instead ra thekgwa ke di Ben 10, ra gallwa ke di Ben 10. Sisasebahle enough in our older years for them to envisage, fathom ukujola nathi, ukulala nathi. Kodwa akunandoda encane kangako whose mom is going to approve you first of all as an older guy and an older woman, and secondly that is going to make out of you a wife. If he makes out of you a wife, yeah, maybe like the guy wako how Stella got her groove back, in the rare occasion that might be a thing, but it's still gonna be taboo, and ain't no man's mom when you're that much older than him gonna like you. You're always going to be is Kenyayo, that's cradle snatching to a mom. You're always going to be a cradle snatching irritant. So essentially your marriage is always going to be a taboo in the community. So they make us very disrespected women by refusing to love us, even though bayasithanda ukudlula wonke umuntu la emgaqweni. Khale baratile rena le 22 bahana rinyala baretrita like nyoko, kept us single, made out of us viable and up for grabs by little children, by Gen Zs, by Ben 10s, made out of us sugar mamas ezihlekwayo, and then had the brazen audacity ukuyodineka, ukuyokwata, ukuyoba nama issues nendaba yokuthi umfazi wakhe or who he thinks is his mfazi ubhizi ulala nomntwana. Remember when it was indeed uLontuza uJonasi went to go and intimidate AC He went to go and intimidate AC, and it was a very funny scene, though glibly. It was funny in a very glib sense. Lezinto iqiniso ziyenzakala. Kodwa the way they're portrayed in these shows is so crass. Kodwa no crass bakhona. It's the way lezinto ziyenzakala ngakhona. If you are going to disregard the needs of a woman magakula for uthando, for intimacy, what happened in that scene, hilarious as it might have been, it's nonetheless hilarious in a very glib fashion. It is hilarious only in a glib fashion. I laughed my guts off. I even rewinded to read the subtitles to see what the English said. And I was like, Yazini, you gotta be here to get it. Ngoba isiLungu did not cover it. People from other countries wouldn't even understand or even crack up the way that I would imagine a South African audience would crack up. That is vernacular speaking. When they heard that line in the show, Jonasi breaks in, finds AC with her boy toy. It's like, uyenzani la nomntwana? And Jaka ntse ba lwana gakana mo kitchening, Jonasi ababhanqile. AC then says, "Umocambu uthi mina ngizoyenzani Jonasi le?" I don't even want to say it's so funny, but glibly, like I said, she's like, "Lento ayidli papa." She's like, "Jonasi mocambu uthi mina ngizoyenzani lento ayidli papa." Lento. She's talking about her nether regions, her Nina. Ati lento ayidli papa. And I rewinded just to read the subtitles to see what the English said. And the English said, Jonas, I have got needs. I've got sexual needs and you're not catering to them. And I'm like, that's not what that said. A direct translation would be, Jonas, what did you expect me to do? This thing does not eat porridge. I hosed myself, but I was ashamed of myself for laughing because I'm pretty sure that God was not impressed with them. Okay, I'm laughing at such dirty jokes. But the thing that Essie said, as crass as it was and as funny as it was, however, glibly, is a fact. You want to keep women single, and in so keeping them single, parch them of intimacy until they end up seeking it out in crazy little boy toys. Even Paul, I'm actually right now watching the letters of Paul to the churches, and amidst the letters is one to, I believe, is it Galatians or Corinth or Thessalonica, one of the letters. Paul says that ningachadi because it's better not to get married. But if you can't hold your horses, if you can't hold your passions, ningachadi then nichade so as to not sin against God. Kodwa manchada, make sure that you marry believers. So Paul says if you can exercise self-control, don't marry because there's a lot of trouble in marriage. Mara if your passions are wild, ambani yochada. So amadoda that keep women single because you're jealous for indaba yokuthi she was imedi yakho and akumaqeda ukulahlekelwa uye ngoba ukudampile, you deserve to be dumped. No hlanga. When then you go out of your way and do a spell to make sure that a woman stays single all the way into her 40s, you are forcing uesi ukuthi ayolanda iBen 10 bese ma uJonas that feels jealous for uesi comes in, Mr. Polygamist, ayokhalela indaba yokuthi uesi is sleeping with some little child. Besu esi athi mocanga ukuthi nangizoyenzani Jonas lento ayidli papa. I was like, I know la madoda ayahlanya. Alright to AC, even Paul said it, if you can't hold your horses, stop trying to feed your nether regions porridge. Get married. Lento ayidli papa. And me, I took that to God years ago. I was like, I don't have the self-control. I don't have the desire to stay single. I want to serve you for the rest of my days, but I'm not like Augustine that wants to become an ascetic. I want a husband. I want intimacy. More than anything, I want children. Bese boyfriend yami. Ngiyesha mina yathi karabo wena ngenkani esiwami if awufuni mina uJonas as a second. If you don't want to be my second wife, then ahamba vele vele uyodli papa. And so the implications of that, the indirect suggestion of that temptation is find someone to sleep with, whatever his age, or masturbate. The temptation is just throwing people into obscurity. And so if you're going to cause that much sin, fornication in women, and God is going to pick a controversy with you. Tina, we want to be pure. Tina, we don't want to masturbate. And we also don't want a boy toy. And of course, asidli baba. So we just wait. And that's what I've been doing for years. And my ex-boyfriend is still saying, Agnandaba, you're not gonna have. First and foremost, boy twenje, la ejardini, or indoda ezokthanda, uzogcina ubonile karabo. The lento yakho ayidli papa, so take me. Also, nathonsi kilonka wena ka all your like luggage. Ditoli zotlanka tsona fetletseng ka enya ke tsebe. Nka basadi ba le ba pushang gore banna ba le ba pushang ditoli. Causing motorists have to go all the way around. Itroli yakho igcwele ngegarbage njengodaka asazi ukuthi what's in there kodwa I gotta take you nale troli yakho igcwele ngawat angazi ngoba lento le ayidli papa. And like AC saying, right, though, like I said, glib. And it's sexual innuendo, it's dirty talk, it's horrible language. But it's true. And that show was out just showing a whole bunch of realities. And I was like, bona dinjaki mo. Duatla ngkhoza hore nna because ke a tseba hore lento le ayidli papa nyolanda nje Gen Z. Ngoba they are happy. Uyosiza abafazi abadala nje that have got sex drives from here to Timbuktu to basically alleviate their tensions. They're happy, these little boys, to do this, but indoda encane ayizonikeza umfazi uthando that they dinga, the intimacy that they dinga, the companionship that they dinga, the relatability that they dinga. What a woman needs is a peer for a husband or somebody a little older, not a child. But these children are happy to play with their mother's nether regions, if you know what I'm saying. They're happy to play with the nether regions of older women. Mara, you will never ever get that companionship as a woman. So essentially they're setting us up for failure. Very cold. re khatsele and ha ke amen na the way ke amen ka teng for modimo ba laba complain ba re karabo you are too fussy angifuni ngama baggage wena ngama trolley enu agqwele ngani asas angifuni but because I'm the age that I am ngiyadelelwa. And my age is a massive factor that contributes to why these people are treating me like this. However, thanks to how silent I've been, thanks to how silent I've been. Now bayakhala that we can't be left nabafazi abafana nabo madimabi nje kuphela. It's uncomfortable, it's uneasy. Asifuni abafazi laba grandship sifuna abafazi abasiphethe kahle. Siyabona manje you want your bread buttered on both sides, you want to have your cake and eat it too. And then gamo, all the women that they passed up that they now like, that they wish they were not so gullible and obsequious in so of waiting because amadoda abanye abaconvinced ukuthi bazibe ama girlfriend that they were very much in love with but they took for granted. Now that they see ukuthi they still of value and abakachat because asibaningi yini harabangata king really in our late 30s 40s re so nyalwe babang ba rona re so be ke re le bana harabangata king maar die ex-boyfriends rona di sheba and they're like no karabo still viable bese siyo taka twavie re lo tsawa hape ka dikorobela ka nnete o tlo I mean since lo busy o ngesa abuti seng na 40 something and just as monglisa when I was 20 something usangilisa nangamhlanje in order to make me this time around instead of a girlfriend that never ever dumps you in a relationship this time around uzongenza umfazi mamela that is going to accommodate you after. When we were younger, treated me like trash, not damper. And then make sure that I stay single. And now that you see Uguti, it wasn't broken, but you try to fix it. Bese uzama ukyobuya empilweni yami. Nyamithi again. Uno ungthwele ditlhare ha ne re jona. Jona ngsetsa umphatla back setse re le jona ngele bagolo. Middle-aged people. But because you know wena o letse nje ditroli tse tletseng ka enge ha re tse. Mara karabo ha so bele bana so bele next. O bo ga ka seng ke le sona because after all didn't she come first? Uzo borrow indaba yokuthi seng nabantwana seng nama stats, seng ne divorce, seng ne this, seng ne that. Akazonje ngithatha kalula. So ke hanka lo mamela ona le 42. O tlo ngijesa happy abuti korobela vie. Again you're going to keep me in the relationship. Again o tlo bring back lost lava. Again, you're gonna keep me in a relationship meaty. And this time around, because you're gonna be super insecure, given that you've got baggage and I don't. More so, are you going to manipulate me newly, humby, as opposed to back then? Back then was child's play in comparison to what you would do to me now that we're both middle-aged. And I don't have that baggage. And you pride yourself in indaba yokuthi lento ela papa. Nyempela. Ah no, shema kunamuntu deny just like AC indeed admitted. The lento ayidli papa. Kodwa wena ngikrenga ukulamba khona ngangimeni ngalamba for how much longer I don't know. Kodwa you're not my man. Mara la madoda they do this to women. Baqeda lapho bese bayakhalela when they have destroyed their good girls. Why it is that ba stranded ngabo chicken abo migwanti. Bebatlola brazen audacity ka di crocodile tears. Baba ore no mina ngizwenzani ngomfazi ongena character kabuhlungu kanjena. You rewarded ugly women at the expense of good girls. Nyatizevana eva. So nakupa nje 21. Ubang satana yalona ya madimabe. Ibonse di flames itse khale grandchapa di deserve. Give her counsel ukuthi if ufuna ukusebenza ayodla ukudla ayosebenza in an industry where akazodila nabantu because abakhona clearly. Alothola some online job remote nje. Security guard at night angazi. I've been looking for remote work online. Like, didn't feel like anything to make money. And there's some jobs where you just a hermit, but they pay quite a handsome amount of money per hour. $30 an hour, $40 an hour, and to just watch systems at night, all night long. Didn't say di rana. Or didn't Maybe needs to go and get a software AI course of that nature. Where she's not dealing nabantu. If because as funu to anybody we don't want people hungry. As funny nani that will out here cripple umuntu economically altogether. I'm not saying she must never work, but she can't work with people. Abahon. Paskimo. Go and put that woman in her place. Security guard online. Computer to make sure that everything runs swimmingly on a software. And then in yourselves, apologize. Tell me to come back. How you gonna know that's a thing? Divine it. And then only I'll come back and I'll speak. I am up for grabs by any of y'all. It's giving naive all the day long. We have reached an impasse and angwazi survive without me. Ngoba jongano mani babi wa wenu. Moshebe. Motonetseng matlo. Kimo uzame go nkhutlisa. And in the way that you were so hostile or are presently so hostile towards her, God showed me that she's even scared ukuthi ningambulala ngoba vele ngigcwele ngokudlwame letletsa violence. You are very violent. You are excruciatingly violent. And Marimabi knows that ayikulula nje ukucriticise for nina nonke. Grandshap, nyawuphuza nogazi nyawaphuza so legazi lakhona. Over and above ukulichitha nyaliphuza. So lona bantu angmadi ba khona ngobolaya kalula. Jaaka ga le batla go turn a leaf go ba batho ba betere. Ambanye qosha umadimabi wenu niyomenza i-security guard yama systems ebusuku ayo ena $50 an hour imali bonakalayo le. Manqeda lapho bese niapologize kum nibuyelane nabafazi benu niapologize nithatha ama-ARV wenu lifole. If at all your wives will forgive you for giving them AIDS, niyekele ukuyobhidlisa abo Gen Z la emgaqweni ngemithi yenu futhi ngey'ngqulaza zenu nama-gonorrhea nama-clap naba-what and sit down nikhulisa abantwana benu and accommodate and be grateful for indaba yokuthi at least umfazi wakho obhorekile kabuhlungabi willing to forgive you if you will stop cheating and keep on chewing like there are some Skittles. Lama ARVs for the rest of your days but at least akakudivosanga. Yekela abanye abantwana bayotshadwa. Yekelani wonke umuntu la emgaqweni ofuna ukuphila ukuthi bayophila. Otherwise lo mzansi wenu where it is that you've been defecating even though nidla khona. Uzomosheka, uzochwadeka, uzowa, uzo-imploda, uzo-exploda, whatever. But the country is not going to survive if you don't do this. Stop letting crazy ladies run the show when you end up later regretting that that's all you have left when you frankly deserve each other. Let them go and work remote jobs where they're only staring at computer screens and not human beings because they can't deal with human beings, and then leave the youth to grow up in peace and choose their own love instead of forcing them to be with you. Because the entities hovering over lo mzansi wethu because of imithi yenu haehle re kgathetse ke di mamlambo tse lo tsa rona tse iblaneng di a fofa re kgathetse ana motho sa kgathalang hae ban lona la kgathala nna ke rakile mnyengi ke tsamaya like it or not one way or another mina ngizoba right kuba leska lebalang that thing anginqengi kwamanje nginikeze solution. Mina ngiyaphuma la eMzansi like it or not, whether or not you are content with me staying or going ngiyahamba. Angikwazi mina ukuhlala la in South Africa kuphelile ngani nami kodwa nginithande enough to give you this counsel. Ngiyahamba like it or not, akuna apology that will make me stay. Kodwa ikhona into engayenza to try and help you salvage ukurecuper ama losses enu that you don't have to endure a civil war. In the next part that is up and coming, ngikhaloselile how in the world it is under heaven that John and Charles Wesley succeeded to stay the French Revolution, but the English Revolution. Y'all can stay the South African Revolution by simply becoming more righteous, but some of us don't gotta stay here. And frankly, I am not staying. I will spend the rest of my life in another country. And if at all you repent earlier than later, you might not have to endure too much damage or devastation. Godwa, there will be something of a permanent loss that you will not be able to recover. You're not going to be able to recoup it. So I'm just giving you advice. Lahlani lo madimabi wenu ngoba kwevele uJezebel kwamele alahlwe. Umfazi nangiya unkhalisile and now you are addicted to umfazi you can't touch. Nagcina nimkwatisile namberita namyenza incensed. Wagcina hambile from the country altogether. That's what your crazy whores do to you. Banyenza ukuthi nilahlekelwe ngabafazi abaright kabi. Kahlunga so unjevela samolahlang satane ele mara le lahleka borotho ora ska tshwarwa ke tlala ora lo tse bora ntho di etswa jwang le ska mo tlogela a ska tlo pheta mosadi wala se a sebetsa le batho hape angaphinda sebenza nabantu futhi. Make sure of indaba ukuthi akakwazi ukuyo-entera ever again an industry where she is working with people kwelenge sabotage and ahatlo fola hayo engwitsela hayi bana o batla modimo ke aka mo kopa tshwarelo mara ha eyo engwitsela ka udila ka di Jezebel other than ukuba qosha from indawo where bazoenza izinto bazenzayo. Otherwise if you keep on accommodating uJezebel mamela, even in the letter to the church at Thyatira, God uti nyama accommodator, so God will put her on a sick bed and you into great tribulation. Are you not enduring a tribulation now? Is your nation not going through a tribulation now? It is. Bona ngore lesense jwang cause basadi ba satane ba le influence Jezebel ole wa satane la hopela go mo o entseng mosadi ole ko Ahab ko Israel like o entse ndoda wet behind the ears wa ba nambi pembi wanga yenza ama decision ayenza sense for his whole entire country. Wagcina nje abhikisa Israel. That's what wicked women do to a whole entire country. Bayenza amadoda ukuthi bangacabanga kahle. Even the Bible says she's like rottenness in your bones. You need to get rid of that whore. Don't say I didn't warn you. Ne, like I said, angindingi mina ngibuthelele khona, ngibuthelele. If at all the day ever arrives when I'm out here sharing lo msebenzi lona, ehle. It's only because le apologize it, otherwise ha le tlo ibona video e. Lanza ke apere dituku. Le tla ibona from Korea. Nakeleta. How soon you receive this video depends entirely on how quickly you're willing to humble yourselves. Put your tail between your legs and realize that you can't carry on like this. Alright, very well. Sharp, Cynthia. Now I'm done. Ambanyobukela i-14 part. Ngizonibona if at all ngiyanibona, I guess, whenever you decide ukuthi nizongibona. Bye. Peace. Oh, and one last thing. Ngicime my lights and everything, and so things are looking a little bit different. It's fine. I just have one last thing to say. Here, you've also been trying to kill me. You've done so many death rituals and sex rituals, trying to make me settle njefela for anything in this season that bewitching a woman that is no longer speaking or trying to make her commit suicide. Get rid of Marimabi. She made you that obsessed. Get rid of that woman. Now I'm really done. Bye.